This is Louis Zumbaugh with Rush Hour Ag. Leave your message after the tone.
Hey, Louis, it's Elliot Henderson. Can't wait to tell you about
rolling down the back road, truth riding with the dust, talking agriculture policy with people you can trust. From the field to the Capitol, we're breaking it down. Real talk, real issues from a real farm town. Every hour's rush hour when the work won't leave, so we're cutting through the noise and setting things straight.
What's your rush today, Elliot? All right, well, welcome to Rush Ag. I'm your co-host, Louis Zumbaugh.
I'm your co-host, Elliot Henderson.
And in this episode, we're going to have the second half and maybe a third session before we're over with our friends from LS2.
Courtney Craig and Brittany Lumley.
That's us.
Yes, it is.
Welcome back.
Thank you. We're happy to be here.
So, Elliot, why don't you bring us up to speed where we were at the last time?
Yeah, sure. So we covered, some of the things, key takeaways I thought we got was, how we can be better stewards as constituents to the government here in Iowa. And I thought the ladies here had some pretty good advice for our listeners. And you talked a lot about kind of what your experience was like down there at the Capitol and working with lobbyists. And
yeah, most of the time it was pretty good. Mm-hmm. There was always a few that
oh, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Try to star an army or
say less.
things like that. That never worked very good with me. So.
But yeah, for this one, I think we'll focus on maybe what's coming up in this next upcoming session and what are going to be some of the key highlights that listeners should be focused on.
Absolutely.
Yes, we're excited.
So go ahead. What do you think's coming up?
Oh, goodness. So we do know that the legislative caucuses, they'll be meeting next week. Is that, oh my gosh.
Yeah, November 13th.
November 13th. So we'll see. That's the Issues Caucus, which, that means the Republicans, at least the majority party, will call everybody back and they'll close the door and talk about things that they think are important. So we'll have more certainty in the next couple of weeks, but we do know for sure property taxes are going to be at the top of mind. That is something that the legislature has been undertaking for the last couple of years. And then most recently, the governor has been going on her road show. She'll have a proposal as well. So property taxes will be a big topic of conversation.
So do you guys got any customers that are focused on?
Not yet.
We're hoping on one. So you talk to us next week. But we're hoping on one. So
yes. And so what those packages will look like. I mean, I know that there are different groups, like some of the more tax focused groups. They want to maybe cap how much property taxes can grow each year, trying to find ways to deal with the levy and things like that, which I was going to say, we're getting into
on both sides of it.
Yeah.
But when you come up with a cap, no matter what that cap is, you might as well just say for most counties, it's just going to go up that much every year.
Yeah.
So to me, that's not an answer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I think the property tax discussion is a very much a regional district approach. I mean, you have some legislators who are like, my county's doing it right, but the neighbor next door isn't doing it correctly, or the county next door. And so I think it'll be interesting. But we do know in both the House, the Senate, and the governor's office, it is a huge priority. And they do feel like something needs to be done before the election.
So just to bring the listeners up to speed and myself, because the players are changing. There's so many people.
Yeah. It feels like an election year.
Offices. So Commerce is who now?
Commerce
Outside.
in the House is David Young.
Oh, okay.
Yep. As
former Congressman Nunn.
Young.
Yeah.
Did I say David Nunn? David Young. Yeah. Former Congressman Young.
Yep.
As Lundgren is now running for the Iowa 2nd Congressional District.
Yes.
How
about Ag?
Ag is Derek Wolf.
Derek Wolf. Yep.
And he came after I left. So tell us a little bit about Derek Wolf.
Yeah, Representative Wolf. He's a good friend of mine. I really enjoy working with him. Before he was chair of Ag, he was chair of Natural Resources. So just moved over. He is from the Black Hawk County area. Representative Wolf, if you're listening to this and that's not your county, I'm really sorry, but I know you're from around there. Wears a cowboy hat. That's how people distinguish him. But he's really smart, really quick, really cares about the ag economy, ensuring that cattle producers are at the table and ensure that everyone's there and they really have a grasp of how much ag means to Iowa. He's going to be really good in this position. I'm really excited to work with him, and I think people will find him a very laid-back guy who's, much like most ag chairs, will say, is going to ensure that everyone's input is taken seriously, and that his bills are going to be bills that Iowans care about.
Well, I can tell already as a fellow person that often wears a resistol. I would like this fellow.
Oh, yeah. We'll get you at the Capitol. We'll get you in front of him. So I'm making promises, Representative Wolf. So
I will probably try to meet him before that.
Perfect.
Sure. Well, I just realized the ag in both chambers is now chaired by cattle
Oh yeah.
So they've got
Senator
the market
Driscoll.
cornered.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don
Ag still,
Senator Don Driscoll.
Don
is in it.
Driscoll is.
that'll be for next year too.
Yes.
Mhm.
I didn't know if with
Yep.
Mr. Clemmich coming in, if he
yeah.
have changed.
No, that's a fair question. I think he's made all the changes because he was HHS chair, so he named a new chair for that. And then I think the makeup might change, but the chairs are going to stay.
He also named a new rules chair.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
And Dave Rowley is
Yep.
rules. I forget that he did
Okay.
rules. So
All right. Who's so do we have a new state government? Yes.
no, Jane Bloomingdale is still state
Oh
governor.
yeah, Jane was Bloomingdale.
Yep.
Mhm.
And Senator
So-
Rosenboom in the Senate.
Okay, so I'm trying to think of where,
Property taxes will go through Ways and Means.
and
Yes.
that's
Yes. Okay. I was like, if that's
I
what you
knew
said.
Bobby Kaufman.
Yes, of
Bobby
course.
Kaufman was
Yes,
government
he's majority
Ways and
leader.
Means. I was on both of them.
Yes.
Best committees to be on.
Absolutely.
You get a second bite of the apple with
Yeah.
Ways and
There you go.
really in Iowa, if you're on state government, everything.
Oh,
Oh,
absolutely.
yes.
Yeah, it's a big committee. It's a
So
committee.
who's new on the state or on Ways and Means?
Only Representative Carter Nordman is
Oh,
our
sure.
new House Ways and Means chair.
Call him up. He will be. I mean,
right.
he will be
I'm
all
really
in.
fortunate
Yeah.
that I know so many of these people.
Of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
And,
Yes.
It's I still have a great relationship with everybody. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I especially enjoy seeing them because we don't have to always talk about politics now.
Oh yeah.
How's the kids? What's going on?
Mhm.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Kind of fun. And I'm excited for Jane.
Yeah.
Or not
Yeah.
Jane. No, I'm excited for Jane too.
As
always, yeah.
Bloomingdale.
Yeah.
Shannon,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
running
Mhm.
Yeah.
for Congress.
Absolutely.
U.S. Congress, and I hope that she is successful in
Yeah.
that. And
Yeah.
I won't lie, she's my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, where are we going?
Property taxes.
Oh, yes. So property taxes. That we know that's going to be a big topic of conversation, and what that looks like again.
So as a supervisor, as a former supervisor, here's what I would like to see.
Okay.
And I come from a very blue county.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you really want to get a hold of property taxes, for one thing, the state has to decide and just blanket it. This is what you're allowed to spend your money on.
Mm-hmm.
Because Lynn County likes to spend their money on lots of other things
Mm-hmm.
often. And when I was there, and I know in full disclosure, my daughter took my place,
Yep.
Brandy
Mhm.
Myscheid. I think she's doing a wonderful job. She called one day and wanted to know what I thought about data centers. I said, well, I don't know much about data centers. She said, well, they use a lot of water, and I'm concerned about that. But I don't know if my colleagues or anybody else would get on board.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just made the comment that somebody made to me one time that you can get a lot done if it don't matter whose idea it is.
Mm-hmm.
And so that idea did take off. I think the mayor of Cedar Rapids claimed it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Although I'll give Supervisor Myscheid the
Yeah.
credit because
Absolutely.
she definitely was the one that floated that out there and wanted to do that first. And I think that's important
Yeah.
because that's probably one of our most important natural resources that people
course.
don't think of as a natural resource.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they do take an incredible amount of water. And I don't know if that water is recyclable through them or not. I don't have any idea.
Yeah. Well, and I do know that data centers they're constantly evolving too, right? Because those are the comments that are made, and so
I
it's
probably
like-
hadn't even heard of what the word data center a
Yeah.
year ago or 2
Yeah.
years ago.
Yes.
Now it's in the lexicon. So
for sure. And so making sure that they're good stewards and they want to be good partners too. So I think that's important that you raise those issues. So
well, and like
they're
that property tax thing get brought up, I mentioned it in the last episode here, the preferential treatment for residents.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
is there any conversation around that with property taxes where we have
That's exactly where I was
preferential?
Mm-hmm. Yes, keep going. Yes.
So you have this in this case, these data centers coming up
Mm-hmm.
that are willing to give money
Mm-hmm.
to I don't know what they call it, but feel good money to the
Yeah.
communities.
Yeah.
If some of that shouldn't go to property tax relief.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's interesting.
And then they can fund the things with that money that property tax are funding. But that you have to structure that correctly because
Yeah.
that is where Iowa, in my opinion, messed up in gambling.
Mm-hmm.
If they would have, I have no problem with gambling. You want to gamble your money away? I gamble every day. I'm a farmer.
Yeah.
I didn't, take how you want, but I didn't sell
Yeah.
beans yesterday and they're 27 cents
Yeah.
a day. So,
Yeah.
that's worse than going to the boat.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I spend $20 at the boat and I think it's a crime,
Yes.
but I can hold beans to fun and it's fine.
Lose
Yeah.
$20,000.
Yeah, just in a blink of an eye. But anyway, I just think that there's things that the state should come back and say, if they really want to control property taxes, this is what a county's willing to pay for. And back to the gambling issue, if
Mhm.
they would have said the gambling profits are going to be divided per county per capita,
Mm-hmm.
you wouldn't have these fights on where they're at. Not nearly as much because other than the jobs,
Mhm.
every county would be getting something.
Mhm.
But it wasn't structured that way. And now it was it's hard to know where to place them.
Absolutely.
And none of that would have been as big of an issue
Mhm.
had they done per capita per county right off the bat.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if that's fair with data centers or not,
Mhm.
because I think it's fair to spread that money around,
Mhm.
but a majority of it, in my opinion, should stay with the host county
Mhm.
or maybe a surrounding amount of
Yeah.
counties. Kind of like we're going to go with hydrogen a little bit.
Mhm.
And it's kind of like, where's that water coming from? Well,
Yeah.
it's not just coming from
Right.
Mhm.
Struck in.
Yeah, we're not just taking the water that comes to the Cedar River when it hits Lynn County.
Right.
Mhm.
We're taking it from above. So
Sure.
I don't have all the answers, but as lobbyists, some are things you can think of. And
Oh,
come
for
up
sure.
with the answers.
No, and I think with the property tax discussion too, I mean, another layer to this between, the current legislative makeup and the current governor, you also have some candidates who have run on just eliminating property
Absolutely.
taxes.
I was for that.
Yeah. So it's just like how, and some of these candidates are sitting legislators. So how is that going to play into the conversation?
Absolutely.
I love the idea of it. I own a fair amount of property.
Yeah.
I just don't see how we keep
Yeah.
government running that
Yeah.
way.
We fund other things.
I brought up the preferential treatment for Iowa's, constituents or Iowans, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's 27,000 acres of farmland now in my county that are owned by people that don't even live in the state of Iowa.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like they're paying egg taxes on that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How's that beneficial
Yeah.
to the state of Iowa?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. There's definitely gonna have to be some reform to this.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it's a tough, it's an animal to get your arms around
Oh, yeah.
because when you start tugging over here, then something else falls apart. And I think, to be quite honest, I understand property taxes at a high level
Oh, yeah.
as a homeowner, but when you get into the nuts and bolts, most people don't understand it. And that's also something that you're doing a lot of educating. And there's a lot of groups that are involved, whether it's the cities, the counties, the schools, then that's just the producers, things like that.
Yeah.
So we'll see what they end up putting forward. But I know a lot of people ran on this property taxes. We're going to fix them. We're going to lower them. And
And everything they
that's what
do,
they want to do.
You hear a lot about, once you get 65, you shouldn't have to pay property taxes.
Another senior citizen discount.
Yeah.
Closer to that. So, I suppose in 5 years.
Great idea.
You're like, best idea ever.
But that really just increases the burden to everybody below 60.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I don't
Mhm.
think that's probably the
Yeah.
answer.
Mm-hmm.
I am a sales tax. I like sales tax.
Yeah.
Sales and use tax.
Other people have pointed out that we're not South Dakota.
Yeah.
We're not a vacation state.
Correct.
Mhm.
So I get what they're saying, that we don't have an influx of people coming
Yeah.
every year paying our taxes for us.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I don't know we can be 100% that. I do know that one of the biggest sins I'd ever get phone calls on as a supervisor was property taxes.
Mhm.
And in Lynn County, the county's portion was like 15%
Wow.
of your total property tax.
Wow.
So I'd go downstairs, get their actual tax roll,
Mhm.
And one that really stands out to me, they'd bought their house in Marion, and the property taxes went up a lot.
Mhm.
And there was a bond issue that had passed in between when they bought it and when their next tax roll was due. They weren't a veteran. The person before was a veteran.
Oh.
And there was one other thing on there that they didn't qualify for.
Mhm.
And so they were quite a bit higher than what it
For
looked
sure.
like when
Yeah.
bought
What they
the house.
thought.
Yeah. Yes.
But I do think that the state should just come out with just cut and dried. This is
Mhm.
what you can spend your money on,
Yeah.
spend
Mhm.
tax money on. And these other things are just not part of it.
Yeah.
And then somehow they have to get their hand on school finances.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not sure what the answer there is either, although I did hear this on the same radio station that we talked about in the last episode about 6 employees for every 1 student. Maybe school districts should have only been allowed to get so big.
Yeah.
And then, it really wouldn't cost you anymore. Yeah, you'd
Yeah.
have to have more superintendents, but you'd have less people underneath.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then parents would have a bigger voice,
Sure.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Well, that's an interesting.
Idea.
That's
I did not come up with that.
okay. I was going to say this first I heard about
Of authorship here.
You get a lot done if you don't get your
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
School choice should be, moving in the right direction to get that, that free market to kind of guide the most efficient type school
Yeah,
operation or
I
not.
think is what they were talking about was just the sheer budget of the Des Moines. They were solely talking about Des Moines,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
but the budget size and all that. So property tax is going to loom high.
Mm-hmm.
I hope I admire Bobby Kaufman last year. You know, my brother always tells me if you don't know what to do, sometimes you just don't do anything at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was good that they just
Sure.
didn't do anything,
Yeah.
as opposed to try to slap something together. And hopefully they've worked on it
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
off season here.
For sure. Well, and I know, Senator Dawson on the Senate side of things, he is dug in on this.
He's a workhorse.
Yeah. And so I know that he will definitely have something. And I know that he and Representative Kaufman worked really well together. So hopefully that continues with Representative Nordman. And
I'm sure it will.
And
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what they do.
So what else on your guys' radar other than property taxes?
Yeah, I think, you guys tell us if this is correct or not. In Des Moines, everyone's talking about water quality, right?
Sure.
Runoff and, how do you fix this and all these big things, I think is really Des Moines central. And I think Republicans closer to Des Moines have talked to us about it. But it kind of seems when we go out to more northern Iowa, northwestern Iowa, legislators are like, no, I don't want to touch that.
Sure.
So I think water quality or the water discussion may or may not be coming up. I think Des Moines Waterworks has had a lot of conversations this summer about the nitrates in the water and, what is the fix? Is there a fix? And I think, bring it to ag. I think a lot of times producers are blamed for it, and just having the conversation of like, that's not really how all this works is going to be really important.
We're going to have a farmer advocate on, Zach Smith, that goes by the stock cropper.
Yeah.
And, he's a farmer advocate
Yeah.
for farmers making a lot of change to try to improve water quality issues.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
I don't know where that's going to go this
Yeah.
coming session, but I think it's a really important topic, but that does need
Absolutely.
to be discussed. So.
Yeah.
I don't know if you'll know this answer, be able to answer this,
Okay.
but when I was there, Des Moines Waterworks would take out the nitrates
Yeah.
and dump them back in down river because they cared so much about the people. So
I can't
they
speak
still
for
do that, or they keep them out.
I can't speak for water practices of a private company, but we'll see.
Because the conversation, and I believe you were in the legislature when there was a big water quality package
yeah.
that went through. Yeah.
Yep.
So that would kind of checked the box, and it's just kind of been percolating since.
Yeah.
And again, we're in Des Moines.
Yeah.
So we hear from Des Moines Water.
Why don't you get them to take the nitrates out and give them to you so you can use them yourself?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not a believer that it's all the farm.
I think
Oh,
everyone at
yes,
this table is not
yes.
a believer of that. 100%. I think that
And that's
is.
the problem.
I think that is I talk all about regions. I think it's easy for Des Moines people say it's the farmers, it's the farmers,
Sure.
it's the farmers. And it's like, do you think farmers are buying extra fertilizer just to dump in the river? Because inputs are expensive, people. We're not buying stuff just for runoff to happen.
And
Come
let's
on.
talk about the massive real estate developments that are happening throughout the
Yes.
state and how you're moving things that way and all of that. So it's there. You can't just point the finger at somebody without pointing back.
Just look at East Village.
Oh yeah.
Drive through there, and I don't know the street. I used to stay at the Lion.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right by our office.
They got some new apartments, townhouses, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, yeah.
Just down that low area.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And in the 90s, I remember when it flooded once, all that was just all that area was flooded.
I
Oh, yeah.
believe That.
Well, if it ever floods again, short memory of what that looked like.
Mhm.
Yeah.
built on
And
there.
it'll be an issue for sure.
But like you said, they have all these parking lots and all that runoff. But I
Yeah.
don't remember where I was at the other day, but somebody had some friends out that were from the city, and they were talking about how much Roundup they put on, and
Sure.
the guy had some in a pot box. Well, this does X amount of acres.
Mhm.
And whoever the person, well, I use that much on like my driveway to
Yeah.
keep the weeds going off
Yeah.
the tracks, and
Exactly.
we use, we'd take a 12-ounce bottle and
Yeah.
acres with that doing. They're dumping that on.
Yeah. The
Plus the
weeds. Yeah.
Burn, baby, burn. All right.
Yeah, some products it's less than an ounce, around an ounce
Yeah.
an acre. So it's
Yeah.
So here's what I think is going to be the biggest thing in the
Yes.
state of Iowa this year.
Mhm.
And I don't know whether you're going to have, you do indirectly if you don't have any direct clients,
Mm-hmm.
but property rights with the pipeline. And I think that could blow up the whole session on day 3 or day 4 after the pomp and stance is over.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I was hoping that they'd have a committee. I don't know if they ever did form one to try to have a compromise bill?
I will say we are in that space. We do have a client on that issue. We won't name them, but I feel like you could probably guess who. And we do know that is going to be a big topic of conversation, eminent domain overall. I was just in a meeting yesterday. Representative Kaufman has been very open about this, and so is Majority Leader Kaufman and Majority Leader Klimisch. They want to put forth something that is going to some type of a compromise. So there are conversations happening. They want to get it done early and they want to get it out of the way so that we don't have the same situation that
I'd love to see that happen.
Yeah.
I do not want this session to get bogged down in pipeline for months.
Yeah.
Yes. And I will say, I in the Senate, what happened last year was I'd never seen it before. I know a lot of people hadn't, and I know that there was people had a lot of hard feelings about that, and we don't want that as lobbyists. We want senators to work together. We want to be able to work with them and talk about other things. So hopefully that issue can be addressed and everybody can be happy. And
Most fixes have to go through the IUB and how they do business.
they will probably.
Yeah. So I think the IUB and the IUC now.
They've changed it.
Yes, it's the Iowa Utilities Commission instead of the Iowa Utilities
Not a board
Board.
anymore.
Yes, now they are a commission. So new talking point. Everyone get on board.
Yeah.
It just was a random email one day, like, "Hey, we're the IUC now." We're like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
They were getting a bad rap.
Yeah, sure. So B2C, we love Courtney Craig. We love C's.
Does that change everybody's emails then?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
junk spam now.
But we do know, as most departments or entities of Governor Reynolds, they very rarely take an input on bills, right? It is their job to act on the legislation that the governor signs. And so I think some changes will have to go through the IUC and just how permits happen. But I think a lot of it, it has to be driven by the legislators and leadership and the people at the table to ensure that, whatever happens is first off doable and second off makes sense for everyone at the table. So while the IUC will definitely have to implement the bills that are passed or signed into law, I do want to be clear that I do not think the IUC will be pushing that package. I think it will be the Senate and the House coming together and the governor, of course, and having those conversations.
I understand that part.
Yeah.
But any compromise is going to have to involve how they go through the process.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Like changing the permitting process or something like that.
I'm a firm believer that if you widen
The corridor.
the corridor, that you may, in the end, if the price gets high enough, have neighbors arguing over who gets it.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's just, if we're going to talk about like we want a freedom of the market, right, then let everyone in the market have a say on where it goes. And I do think that would solve a lot of things.
But I will say this as a landowner, when you go in, and I have 2 pipelines,
Sure.
they do effectively take a large portion of your farm.
Sure. Yeah.
Other than farming it,
Yeah.
you can't build near it. You can't
Sure.
do several things.
Yeah.
So when it looks like you're getting a big check for this little corridor,
Yeah.
that corridor is a lot bigger
Sure.
than what it looks like on
Yeah.
paper.
Sure.
And that check needs to be big.
Yeah.
And then you can take this back to your client. I see absolutely no reason why it can't be. And I don't know that your client is the same client I'm going to talk about here.
Okay.
I'm not going to mention their name, but they have a new CEO, and I read some things about continuing payments and whatnot. But it needs to be based on how much goes through the pipe.
Sure.
Not on some of the things that they've come up with, and not guilt your neighbor into wanting it. I mean, come on, that's actually going to backfire on them more than likely. That part, but a yearly payment for what happens, and most of what happens. This is from my own experience. Pipeline companies need to do what they say they're going to do to start with.
Oh, sure.
And that
Yeah.
hasn't happened in Iowa. Probably doesn't happen anywhere, to be honest. In the past, and just having some teeth in that.
Sure.
On crop loss and things
Yeah.
like that.
Oh yeah, for
Which-
sure.
Yeah.
But I think that's the biggest topic that's going to hit. Not because, partially because it is a huge topic in Iowa. But if they don't get that out of the way right away.
Oh yeah,
it's
then
just
it is. It's going to color the whole session.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think on both sides, there's staunch believers on both sides. And, you talk about producers. There's producers who really want it, producers who don't want it. So it is a conversation that takes a lot of oxygen, and it's a very passionate conversation for everyone involved.
Anything that's further out there that you think maybe isn't on people's radar that
Well, I don't want to keep talking about Des Moines, but because of the Des Moines public school situation, we talked about how immigration practices might come up again, just to make, because that was
Verify.
yeah. Oh, E-Verify, the governor signing that executive order. That has been a bill. Senator Garrett has been pushing it for several years. So I bet that'll come up, and just the education space in general. There's always going to be, the legislature has done a lot in that space, especially for higher ed and some of the policies, what with DEI and CRT and things like that, but people work around it. And so trying to make sure that legislators feel like what they pass is being implemented, that's going to be.
I mean, we saw that this interim, right, where film videos were coming out from different regent schools saying like, oh, this is how we get around this. And I think, Representative Taylor Collins, who's chair of higher ed, is very passionate about this space. And so I would be shocked if he comes in with a priority about that.
It always shocks me on how someone would be so naive to make a video of themselves.
I know.
This is how I get around the government's.
This is how I break the law. You keep that to yourself.
There's a mayor somewhere that has said at a meeting, I'm an illegal immigrant, and here she's a mayor of some city.
Gosh.
I mean, larger city. Seriously, you come out with that?
Yeah.
I'd prefer that these stupid people don't figure it out.
I know.
They keep
Get
making
out of
these
government.
videos.
I know for sure. But so education, that's always a busy committee.
Yeah.
And kind of on the tail of that, we talked about school choice, but we do know there is going to be an open governor seat next year. And we've seen some candidates come out on the Republican side. We know who the Democrat is. And so we have a Republican trifecta right now. And I think that legislators will want to make sure that policies are really, battened down in the event that the election does go to a Democrat or something like that. So making sure that their policies are not easily changed. Now, what that includes, that's kind of an umbrella right now, but knowing that they don't want to waste the trifecta, and they certainly don't want it undone within a year. That is, those policies are going to be, we think will be coming up.
I think I was talking to a legislator one day, and Rob Sands became auditor when I was in the House. And I think some of the things they did to his office were probably a little overboard, but that's my own opinion.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you're just like going to nationally, sometimes what you think you're doing is great.
Yeah.
It might be great, but you got to remember, you're not always going to be there to make sure it's great.
Yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah.
But then I didn't realize when I said, now I get along good with Rob. I mean,
Yeah.
But the thing that I wasn't thinking about is all the, I don't want to say chairs, but
Like department heads.
Department
Yes. Yeah. Oh, for sure.
that he'll change.
Cabinet. Yeah.
And that could radically change Iowa. So is what my concern is, because I do believe, back to the property tax issue, that's going to drive so many people on one topic
Yeah.
Sure.
to make possibly a bad decision on the other 15 topics that are
Absolutely. Yeah, I think
They're
people
so
forget.
welled in on one.
Yeah, I think people forget the cabinet is at the pleasure of the governor. So if there's a different party, then it's a different party cabinet and a different director of HHS, director of everything. So I think that is something that people easily forget, that changes as well.
Yeah.
And then some of the quasi-judicial roles that you have with administrative judges, and then, I mean, even the IUC and the things that they oversee, they're, if they lean Democrat or lean Republican, that's going to have the lens that they review all cases for.
Do you guys, your firm, will it reach into like that side of that branch of our government to try to influence or?
So we work with anyone who
highlight certain positions.
Yeah, anyone who is nominated by the Senate, we work with. We don't really give our opinions on who the governor puts in for nominations, just because we don't feel like that's the lobbyist place. But yeah, so we work with any director or anything like that because we are a bipartisan firm.
Okay.
Although, and I will say, if there are complaints of current members or current division heads, current directors, departments, things like that, I do know that people let the governor's office know.
Absolutely.
Just because, again, they all work together.
Yep.
But in terms of influencing, it gets kind of dicey, much like with leadership elections and
That's
the
not something you
legislature.
guys
Yeah.
No, it's and lobbyists who I will say lobbyists who do try to get involved. I mean, you can get burned.
Absolutely.
Because
Yeah.
let's say you were really pushing candidate X or Representative X to be speaker, and he or she doesn't get it. Well, then it comes out that you didn't
got
support
involved.
that person, and it gets very dicey. Plus, that's not our job.
Yeah.
That is one thing. I mean, I'm not a legislator. I don't want to be a legislator. God bless those who do enjoy public policy and public service. But that's not, we'll work with whoever.
I think especially, lobbyists, reputation and trust are everything. And that's a very easy way to get burned very quickly when you start going behind legislators' backs or lying or et cetera. And I think, I will, brag. LSU has a very good reputation for being a clean firm. And we would not work there if it wasn't.
Yeah.
So,
Very, very true.
So,
yeah.
Well, what else you got? What else thinks any other big topics going to hit the Capitol this year?
every single client priority we have will be a big topic.
Yes.
It's all going to become law.
Yes.
I'm manifesting it right now. So those are the big priorities. Yeah. Anything you see LSU's name on, we're pro. All right. Everyone get behind it.
Yeah.
So where do you see, like, I wouldn't even know where to look.
Yeah.
Where do our listeners look to see who's behind these, or how do they get better,
That is a very good question, because it's not always, that part isn't always the most transparent. But I will say Iowa's legislative website, it is really user friendly.
Very easy.
It's easy to navigate. And ever since COVID, they broadcast, or I guess live stream is a better term.
Yeah.
They live stream subcommittees and things like that. All of that is posted for folks to be able to watch and view. So I would say when a subcommittee, if people are speaking for the bill, usually the lobbyists will say, this is my bill. So then So they'll say, Brittany Lumley, here on behalf of Coloma, we asked for this bill to be brought forward. If that's, that's a little bit in the weeds. Another thing is, again, the associations. As we mentioned, we're sending out bill trackers. We're giving a little bit more color. Associations, I know, do a good job of sending that out.
Well, and also just on the legislative website, like lobbyists have to declare who their clients are. So on that legislative website, there is a lobbyist section. You can look up Brittany Lumley, and she legally has to say, these are who pays me to lobby. Every year, lobbyists have to disclose how much they were paid to do direct lobbying. So that's on there. And then also, in order to speak on a subcommittee on behalf of a client, either Brittany and I have to register that client for undecided or against a bill. Iowa is very clear about its lobbying rules. It is very clear about how to be transparent in the process. Not all states do that. Every state has a different process on how a bill becomes a law. But the legislative website is very user friendly, because you can see who we represent and how much they pay us to directly lobby.
So for listeners, if they want to follow Courtney and Brittany more online, where can they find you guys at?
I am on Twitter, but I mostly post funny memes.
Yes.
At _Courtney Craig _.
Yep.
Brittany, I don't even know your handle.
Yeah, it's my maiden name. It's _B Telke with 3 Y's.
Yeah, but LS2 group.
Yes, that's the best thing.
As a whole, they have an Instagram, they have a Facebook. I'm sure they have a Twitter. But they're really great. We do a weekly legislative newsletter that we think is interesting. But you can always just call us, text us, email us, whatever we can do. We like being accessible. We like having conversations, and we like encouraging people to get involved in this sector of our democracy.
Okay, well, as we wind down our second episode, we had a list of a few lightning round fun questions.
All right.
So I'll take the first one, and you can
go ahead.
go from there. What's one agricultural policy that you wish most farmers understood more?
Oh, that's a good one.
I think that goes back to our first episode. I'm going to stick with embracing change. I know that's not it's direct ag policy, but I think embracing change and knowing that not all new markets are bad. I'm not saying trust every guy who has slick back hair that comes to your door, but I am saying that embrace, new markets, embrace the new ideas, and embrace change.
You realize 85% of the people in this world hate change.
Yeah.
Hey,
and we're part of it too.
We're part of it.
The other 15 can't stand it.
We are two type A ladies, okay?
Yes.
Okay, same one for you.
That'll be the same. That'll be the same.
Embrace
Yes.
change. All right,
Okay.
not what I thought you'd say, but
All right, number 2. If you could change one thing about how policy is made, what would it be?
I mentioned this earlier. It takes forever. And I wish there was a faster way to change policy, but then I will say we benefit from that at some point.
Absolutely.
But the things that are important, it is frustrating because it takes forever, and also it forces people to be creative. But that's my biggest thing.
Yeah, that's good. I think, it needs to go quicker. And I do think that it could be a little bit more transparent. I mean, as much as we're subcommittee, committee, floor, there are backroom deals. There are negotiations had. There are legislators who push those things. And sometimes you don't know that. Sometimes you think your bill's passed and you're told yes. And then next thing you know, you're told you're not even going on the floor. Your bill is dead. I mean, you don't always get told why. And, I hate change. So I want to know why. So I think that I'm ready.
in the House, it didn't have 51 people.
Yeah, there you go. Well, sometimes you blue card and there's 55. So
Well, and remind me, what was the majority
Oh,
in your tenure?
we were close.
okay, all
We
right.
only had a 3-person majority my first term.
I was
Okay.
going to say, we're at
And so
54.
everybody counted.
That's
And they
crazy.
needed you.
Yeah,
My second term, we were a little higher than that, but not a lot.
sure.
Mhm.
All right, now, yeah,
Far different. I mean, my friends there now, so you probably left it a good
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
I think we're at what 66, 33, and one special election. Have you decided or something like that?
The one thing I wish all of Iowans, anybody, whether it's here or whether it's, I imagine nationally, it's the same way.
Yeah.
When it got to the House floor, only one time did we have a bill that we didn't know the outcome, and that was the traffic lights,
Oh, sure.
speed cameras, excuse me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's
Mhm.
When Highfill was there,
Sure.
and it failed, but nobody knew because
Yeah.
nobody hit the blue card. Just put it out there. That's
Wow.
the only what I'd call free vote we had. And I wish people understood that when the opposing side gets up, the minority gets up and talks for 3.5 hours,
Mhm.
that it's nothing but theatricals,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that is.
TV.
Oh, I changed my answer.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
And I
Mhm.
can't think of his name right now. Oh, he was a Democrat, sat on kind of the Republican side, back row, a lawyer.
Rick Olson.
Yeah, right.
Yep, Rick Olson.
I knew it. I actually can remember.
Mhm.
He would we'd go back and we'd sit there and talk. Like, yeah, I don't know why they do this.
Oh, yeah.
They might
They
talk for 6 hours on something
Yeah.
that, okay, we all know the outcome.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that's how punishment caucuses, right? You're
Oh
like,
my
it's
gosh,
1 a.m.
yeah.
and you're going to go caucus. No, you're all going to go sit in that room. Like,
Yeah, they don't.
no, they're not talking.
No.
No, that's punishment.
Yeah, that's just to
Yeah.
keep you there longer.
Mhm.
Minority.
Next question. You're up.
Yeah, next question. One resource, we kind of went over this one, you'd recommend for ag producers to follow to keep up with the updates.
Yeah.
Just had one.
I say again, hire us. We would love to. Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Fair enough.
I'm going to tell them the House Republicans have something called the morning latte.
Yep.
And every morning it goes out, and it's not necessarily ag focused, but it's like a list of clips or news headlines that their comms director has decided, like, hey, this is what our members should know. You should know it too. You can sign up. It's free. And you just kind of have an idea of like, hey, these are the things that the legislators are being sent this morning. It kind of gives you an idea of like what they're feeling about or what they want to know.
And that's an email. You
It's
gotta
an
subscribe.
email,
It's on
yes.
X, Facebook. Where's that at?
It's an email that you subscribe to. It's called the Morning Latte.
Mhm.
I guess I don't remember how I subscribed to it.
Did I?
Maybe you
emailed the
I
comms.
I think if
director.
you're there, you just
You just
Mhm.
get it.
yeah
I used to get it.
yeah.
Yeah, you're added to the
And-
list, sir. But anybody can be added. So I
Yeah.
guess that is something that.
Email us and we'll forward you the email.
Yes. We'll make sure we'll connect
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
Very cool. All right. Last question. Best piece of advice for someone interested in a career in ag policy and government affairs.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm stealing stealing this from Courtney, even though I shouldn't, because I talked you out of law school because of this. But like network,
Yeah.
your network.
Okay.
That is something I wish I would have done more when I was in college. I graduated law school and I was kind of like, what should I do? I wish I would have sent the cold email. I wish I would have made the phone call to go sit down with people, because I love it when people reach out to me now. I'm somewhat of an elder. I hate saying that. I'm not as young as I used to be, but people they'll reach out and say, hey, I want to talk about government affairs and a career in government affairs. And I love sitting down with younger people to talk about that. So networking is huge.
Yeah.
And Courtney's always said that, so I ripped that off.
No, I will say I do think, and I say this from day one. I'm a young lobbyist. I am a young lobbyist, and I give my internships and the mentors I have made through my internships all the credit for being able to be a young Republican woman in the career that I have had. I would say I am the queen in college. I'd be like, hi, I'm a random sophomore at Simpson College. Can you spend 15 minutes getting a coffee with me? And I would sit down and be like, how did you get here? How do you do it? And I think a lot of people, they do want to have those conversations. They do want to elevate you. And so I know in this day and age, it's not cool to call people and it's not cool to randomly bug people, but like putting yourself out there and just expressing, especially when you're a young professional, that I don't want anything from you, I just want to talk, pays dividends in your career at the end of the day. So I would say the cold email, networking, getting involved, having a cup of coffee, or our colleague Elliot doesn't like coffee, so hot chocolate.
Yeah.
We bully him over it, it's fine. But just going and ensuring and embrace those networks, embrace people that you might not agree with, and learn how to have hard conversations and ask tough questions, because it makes you a better professional.
Great answer.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other quickies?
Nope, not for questions.
All right. Well, Brittany and Courtney, we'd like to thank you for coming
Yeah,
on. to
Thanks
Rush
for
Ag.
having us. Yeah.
Inviting us, and it's been a great couple of episodes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hopefully we'll have you back maybe during section
Yeah, absolutely. We'd love
Would
to.
love to.
Yeah.
Great
eight
idea.
on where things are going.
Yeah.
And for our listeners, thank you for tuning in to Rush Ag. And you can follow LS2 Group online
Yeah.
on X.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we're on X, Facebook, Instagram.
TikTok. We do have a TikTok.
Do we have a TikTok?
Yeah.
All right. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
you got to be able
we
to
will.
find them somewhere.
That's right. LS2 Group.
And, I encourage our listeners to tune in, tell your friends and family, and tell your colleagues.
Absolutely.
right.
Let them know that this is a great podcast.
We will. We
Yes.
will for sure.
And
Like, comment, and subscribe. And that's what the kids say, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
all right. All
The
right.
youth.
Anything else, Elliot?
Nope.
All right. Well,
Thanks, Brittany. Thanks, Courtney.
Absolutely, guys. Thank you.
Yep, thanks. And rush on back for another episode, folks.